Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back. It's episode 70 of the Brunch and Judge.
There's nothing special
70
about 70.
is so big. It's a number that's bigger than 69.
75.
Anyway,
We'll celebrate with 75.
eh, I celebrate each one I make it to and am prepared for. And
Right.
sometimes I'm like, oh, crap. But
I know.
welcome. Welcome, everyone. We are your hosts. I'm Claire. I'm
Oh,
Claire. Ha
you
ha
are.
ha ha. We're your hosts. I'm April.
And I'm Claire, and April apparently does not know who she is today
It's
on this
been,
on this long weekend.
I'm gonna say, there's a lot at play right now. I am in my final 4 days at my job, literally 4 days left, and I can't,
You
I
can
can't
do it.
process the joy that I'm experiencing
You can do
because
it.
I have so much to do, but then I also don't care anymore. So it's been entertaining,
But she's like, I have so much to do, but then I have so much to do at my house because I'm
right?
moving across the
Because I'm
country.
moving across the country, so that's exciting. But, so sometimes I forget who I am, and today I decided I was gonna be Claire, so here we are.
Indeed. I don't know if you wanna
Oy!
be me. I don't know if you're ready to be me. Let's just put
Ugh,
it that way.
it's hard enough being me. I don't think I can
No.
do, like, anything that requires, like, learning something new right now. It just feels like a
You're like,
lot.
"No."
Like, I don't can't really do that. Anyway,
Right.
so this week's topic is, of course, one of our favorites. It is Cult Week. Da, 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 da.
Fourth time we're doing it.
Is it really?
It
It's
is.
our fourth? What I love so much, though, about Cult is that there are so many, and each time I pick one that I'm like, I already know all this, and then I'm like, no, I didn't. I didn't know all of this.
Right.
And then you're like,
Although
oh
this
crap.
one I really didn't really know about, so this was like a brand new day for me, so
Ooh. Well,
but yeah, I
before
would
we.
because you made that spreadsheet of all the
Oh,
stuff.
right. And you were
And I was
counting them.
going and I realized I was like, "Oh, she's not filled it in recently." So I was going back in and filling it in, and I was like, "Wait
Thank
a
you, by
minute.
the way.
This will be the 4th time we've covered cults." And yeah, which I think is the most of any of the subjects we've had on the
Oh,
wheel
goodness.
come up. So,
I
yeah.
will tell you that when I told my mother about our topic today, she goes, "Oh, are you gonna do MAGA?" And I was like, "Ha, not yet, but like, give it time. That feels like a goodie."
Oh, Jackie.
I love my mom.
Jackie's Jackie's so sassy. I love it. Jackie's, like, the quietest person half the time, but then she, like, says the sassiest stuff, and it's like,
And it hits
"There it
harder
is." I
because
know, because
she
people
is
think she's
quiet,
just
yeah.
so quiet and doesn't like, "Oh, she's so nice," and it's like, "Hmm, that's what you think.
Like, you don't know her
You
like
have no
I know
idea."
her.
Right, it's like, "You do not know."
All right. Well, before we get into it,
Yes.
Claire, what are you judging this week?
Oh, I've got a good one.
Ooh.
Um, so this past week I giggle because this one is just too good. My cousin sends me this photo of a boulevard banner, and those are the banners that you usually see in, like, small downtown,
We
that have,
have
like,
those.
the
We have the banners.
pockets
Mhm.
on the top and the bottom. They're, like,
Ours
usually, like,
are
"Welcome to downtown," whatever.
ours are seasonal.
Yes, they
But
usually
it's all
are.
very, very cutesy. In
Yes.
in the Dalles where I used to work because I don't work there anymore. Ha ha ha. They do those banners for like the high school graduates because it's
Yes.
a small town, so they got them.
Right, right. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah,
so
yeah.
those boulevard banners, and at first she thought it was Spartanburg, but it turned out to be in Greenville, South
Hmm.
Carolina.
I've been there.
Yes, I have too. And, they were to celebrate the Juneteenth
Okay.
festival or Juneteenth celebration that's coming up
Okay.
next month.
That seems safe.
Right, right. There was a slight problem with this banner. The problem was that the banner had two white people on it. And yeah.
I'm sorry. Would you say that again, but a little bit slower for anyone who wasn't listening in that moment? Just because I need them, guys, I need you to hear this. For the Juneteenth banner in
Mhm.
a town in South Carolina, who was on the banner, Claire?
A picture of two white people, a man and a woman,
Two
two white
white
people.
people for
Yes.
the Juneteenth
Yes.
celebration.
Mhm.
Okay, just making sure. I want to make sure
Yeah.
we are
Mhm.
all hearing this.
And to top that all off, they just look like they were like cut out of like a 90s JCPenney catalog. Just saying. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
straight out of it. Like
Hmm.
they were just like stock photos from JCPenney's 1990.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. Okay. I mean, the 90s are back, but like maybe we shouldn't bring that back.
no, she says this to me, and of course, she said it was downtown Spartanburg. It did turn out to be Greenville. So this is
Oh,
Greenville,
okay.
South Carolina. And I was like, WTF with three question marks is what I texted back.
It's like, are those white people on a Juneteenth banner?
Mhm. She was just like, yeah, dot, dot, dot. I was like,
I mean, like,
what?
I'm here to support the concept of community within the celebration of Juneteenth. I'm here for that, but like, you have maybe a token white person and like maybe someone of some other descent along in a group of people for whom Juneteenth is particularly important for. Oh my
Right.
god.
So apparently, this, whoever it was like
Oops,
Juneteenth
sorry, banner.
Greenville. It was like Juneteenth Greenville, whoever put up this thing. They had other banners. This was not the only design. So there were
Oh, okay.
multiple banners put up.
But no one saw those.
Some of them depicted black people,
Mm-hmm.
some of them depicted Hispanic people,
Good, good. Here for that.
and there were a couple that depicted white people. And they said they wanted to make it all inclusive. But I'm just like, but still,
It's like,
Juneteenth is not for the white folk.
again,
Just
what
saying.
if we, instead of having separate banners with separate ethnicities on them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that feels also very, but this banner has black
Segregated.
people,
That feels
this banner
also
has Hispanic,
yes.
this banner has white people. What if we just have banners with people?
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like that feels also very
That feels really
segregated.
bad and stupid. This is one of those times when you
Yeah.
just kind of want to go, did you try focus grouping this shit? Like, did you like have
Apparently not.
a group of people not related to the project look at it and give you feedback? Because it's usually very
Apparently not.
helpful to have outside perspectives so that you can catch things like, hey guys, you're being kind of racist and segregationist and like you're missing the mark a bit with this choice.
Mm-hmm. So
Hmm.
anyway, I was like, yeah. And so they're, of course, like, oh, we're so sorry. We offended anybody. That was not our intention. We were trying to be all inclusive, blah, blah, blah. Very.
It felt more separate but equal to me, but you do you. South Carolina, you do you.
Right. I mean, it was extremely like, okay, we want to be equal.
Mm-hmm.
It was I don't know. It was very but when I first saw that I was just like, say what now?
I love
Two
it.
white people on a Juneteenth banner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When in
And
doubt,
I'll send it to April so she can throw it up so y'all can
absolutely.
see
We got to
what
share
I'm
the joy.
talking about because it's like, oh wow, this is something else, guys. Like
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that I have made many a mistake or whatever, just not thinking it through because that happened. But again, get a second opinion or third
yeah.
or fourth, especially if it's things like that where the whole public is going to see it.
But the
Just saying.
apology says Juneteenth Greenville would like to offer an apology to the community for the presence of non-black faces being represented on two flags representing Juneteenth. We acknowledge this mistake having been made and will correct the error quickly. This error was an attempt at uniting all of Greenville and thereby a slight oversight on one individual's part that prevented us from fully embracing the rich potential and celebrating the depth of the Black culture through the message and meaning of Juneteenth. And for that, we apologize to you, the entire community. So basically, they're blaming this on
It's
one
like
person.
one guy did it. And again, I go back to you just let one guy do stuff. You don't have anybody looking at it.
Right.
Because, like, the hell.
But then they're like, we take full responsibility for this misstep in this regard and pledge to rectify the situation promptly and responsibly. Again, the flags in question will be removed as soon as possible. We deeply value the voice of our community. Juneteenth Greenville has accomplished many commendable achievements, and we hope to work to continue to do so with your continued support.
Hmm.
Anyway, so it was, it's like, we're sorry, we'll take them down. But it says that in this article, it says the banners feature many ethnicities, including
Mm-hmm.
Black, Hispanic, and white. So there's more than, I guess, those two, but those three, and those were the three they mentioned.
And
But it says some members of the community emailed concerns and posted questions about the banners on social media.
It's like, hey guys, did you mean to put two white people on a banner for Juneteenth? Just
I
checking.
mean, it's just like what? hmm
Oh my.
But it was like the whole committee approved it, so it wasn't like
Mm-hmm.
it was just that one person's fault. So we're gonna blame it on the one person
Yeah,
that they're
it's
the
like,
one who
thanks
came up with
guys.
the idea, but the whole committee approved it.
My
So
my guess is that he was like, this was not executed as my vision had
right.
been. So keep passing the buck on down. But all right.
hmm
Hmm.
Right. So that's my judge.
Very good, Judge.
What are you doing, Greenville?
Different banners is what they're doing. Different banners. You
I'm like
know,
you. It's
it
like why
I
like just put like multiple like you said,
just
multiple people
multiple
on each
people
banner.
on the banner. Like a group of people. It doesn't have to be two. You can have
Mhm.
more than two people on a banner. Try harder.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just like, wow, that was
I
in extremely poor taste.
other than they're basically saying one guy did this garbage, I appreciate them saying we're sorry, we'll fix it. This was not our intent, but we understand that it's
Yeah.
being perceived that way, so we're gonna fix it. Like, that's
Yeah.
fine. Grow up and you're grown up city, you can handle it and be like, you're right. This was bad. We should have realized it. So
Right.
we're gonna fix it now. Okay, thanks.
Oh. Anyway, that's my judge. Was what is happening here?
But like poor Doug in marketing is like not having a good day.
No. I'm talking about like having to put out some fires. Like, can you imagine the phone calls?
He's like, this is not going on my resume.
Nope.
Ah,
Anyway, that's my judge.
excellent judge. Thank you.
So, what are you judging this week?
So this week I am judging. It's a thing that I think I saw it on TikTok, but it's not a TikTok. It's something that someone has posted somewhere and then some other person posted it on their TikTok as a video. So it's just
Okay.
text. But it's I'm going to start addressing evangelical Christians like they talk at gay people.
I can't wait to hear this. Please read on.
Mm-hmm.
Please.
Yeah, I just don't agree with your lifestyle. Your beliefs are simply a phase.
Right.
Sorry, I dropped my phone. I respect you, just not how you live your life. And finally, you shouldn't be allowed to get married.
Right.
And I
That
laughed at it.
reminds
It
me.
made me very happy because of the whole Target thing going on, and everybody's, like, freaking
Oh my
out
gosh,
in
right.
Target, like, "Oh my god, they have pride, they're indoctrinating your kids," and you're like,
You're
"Dude, do
like,
you
"It's
know."
a T-Rex with rainbows, calm down."
Well, right, but it's also like, I saw a video, and it was a little girl basically pulling out all the ridiculous clothes that they have for kids. It's really, you know, be a dinosaur with this Jurassic Park stuff, or,
Right.
I'm Baby Yoda because here's a shirt
Mhm.
that comes with a Yoda hood on it, or, it's like, they're not indoctrinating, it's just
Right.
there.
But that that reminds me, there's this one chick on TikTok, and I know Tessa sends me the reels, and I send them on to other people.
Mhm.
It's a woman who does, like, if single people talk to married people,
Mhm.
the way married people talk to single
Right.
people, and then that's what that reminds me of. Where it's like married people are, like, single people would say, like, "So, how is like, when are you gonna get a divorce? Like, when is that gonna happen?
Mhm,
Like,
mhm.
how can you stand to sleep in the same bed with a person?
Mm.
Like, don't you just like to go all starfish all by yourself?" Like,
Starfish.
and that's what that reminds me of. That's exactly what that reminds me of, like, what gives you the right to talk to a person like that? And you flip the script and it's like, "Mhm."
Well, because I assume most Targets are, like, the ones in Kentucky, because it's the last Target I've been in a while, I guess, really,
Right,
um, in which, they probably once upon a time, Target sold books and things, so I'm assuming there's Bibles hidden in there, but I know in the greeting card section, they have the religious greeting cards. Like, you can
right,
choose to send a
right,
birthday message, an anniversary message, a sympathy, just a random note that have Christianiness to it, religiosity words or whatever, and that's
right,
fine. I would never choose those because that's not my shtick, and I'm not really into that.
right.
But I don't care that other people choose that. And there's all sorts of clothes that I think are hot garbage that I think nobody should be wearing at
Exactly,
all,
yeah.
ever. But I don't go in there and be like, I can't believe you're indoctrinating people to wear this stuff. It's just going to make them look bad or whatever. I don't, it's like, I don't care. Why? Why? Why do they hate Target so much? It's like, it's just some rainbow things. And last time I checked, I thought Christians loved rainbows. Wasn't that like some big thing? That
Right.
important?
It is.
I think they're just mad that Pride has put more into the rainbow look. They really grew
Right.
it. They really embraced it and grew the rainbow as opposed to Christianity that was like, just this, we can't let it go beyond this little tiny rainbow. Hmm.
Yeah. Mhm.
Whatever. But no, it made me laugh because I feel that way about a lot of things that people will say to me, and I'm like, but you realize I can just say that right back, right? Like, it
Right.
doesn't make it. ah, my personal
No.
favorite is like, you know, why why don't you want kids? You'll change your mind. Like, why did you have
Oh
kids? Haven't
god,
you
I
changed your
know.
mind yet? Didn't they destroy your life? Aren't you poor now because you had kids? Why did you choose to have kids? Why would you want that? Like, I mean, I have to give reasons all the time for why I don't want kids, but no one ever has to give reasons as to why they're having them.
Right.
Ugh, the world's stupid.
Or it's like when you say, yeah, when you say, "Oh, I don't want kids." And they're like, "Oh, you'll change your mind." And I'm like, I haven't yet."
Right?
It's like, "I'm almost 40, haven't yet."
It's like,
So,
sure, I could change my mind. I could also suddenly decide that I am a devout Catholic and really commit to that life path, but that's probably less, no, probably more
mhm,
likely than me having children.
right.
Whatever.
Yeah. It's like, "How about you just keep your nose out of everybody's business? Mind your own.
Right? Is like,
Stay in your lane." Jeez.
but I find that people, especially the evangelical crowd specifically, have a harder time with anything outside of what they think it's supposed to be.
Oh, right.
And it's
100%.
not that that's what they want. Like, I don't know that they specifically could say, "Oh, yes, I wanted to get married at 20 and start having kids so that when I'm 40, my 20-year-old child is pregnant with my first grandchild." Like, you want that? Or you just thought that's what you were supposed to do? So when someone does something different, it freaks you out. So
Right.
also, I have issues with people under 40 being grandparents. It creeps me out. It's creeping me
Oh
out.
my gosh, right.
Creeped out.
Well, and not only that, I always said that even when I was going to church, that they didn't know what to do with people like me because all the people my age, like out of college,
Mhm.
were either like
Yeah.
engaged, married, or already had kids. And it was like, I was none of those things.
No.
Didn't have a relationship. And it was just like, and that's why I just kind of quit going to Sunday school because there was really not a Sunday school class for me. And the singles class was creepy
I
AF.
It
And
is.
I'm
I
not going in
went
there. Well, as a 20 something, I was like, I'm not going in there with a bunch of 40-year-old men. Like, forget
so,
that. No, thank you.
my short stint in churchiness as an adult, um, I went to because I was part of, like, the singing group or whatever, they
Right.
wanted
Yeah.
me to go to Sunday school. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Whatever."
Because
And so I went
you're supposed to
to
like be a good influence on the, yeah.
And
No,
so
I
I
get it.
went one
Hmm.
time to the single Sunday school, and I walked in and felt like a side of meat, like every single gross guy,
Right.
and they were all like 20 somethings because it was a huge church. But like they looked at me like I was fresh meat, and I'm like, fuck you. No,
Right.
I'm out. No. And I never went back. It was like, I ain't doing none of that shit. So like I will be involved in other stuff, but it is not gonna be this piece of shit class. Because it was all about
No.
who is gonna hook up with who and get married, and it's gross. It's
Yeah.
gross, gross. So
I agree. Nope. Nope.
here I am, still not married. Oh.
Right. Same.
And now I have red hair and I am a demon. But anyway,
And
so
you're living in sin. How dare you?
oh, yes, every single day. The more sin, the better. I have actually spent the last few months making sure I've committed all of the sins that I freaked out about growing up. So I'm not murder. I was never freaked out about murder, so
Right.
it's
Right.
fine.
And I love that TikTok that you and Tessa both sent me about it was like that one chick that was like, "Oh, I try to commit all the sins that I
Mhm.
can because I don't wanna go and spend eternity with Ted Cruz." And I was just like,
Well, I laughed so hard because I was like, "Oh my god. What if I am going to hell? Because that is my hell, is if I'm in heaven with all of those people. That
Right,
sounds like
right.
hell to me.
It
Thanks.
does. It really does. Yeah.
Hashtag not blessed.
Right.
Hashtag this is actual hell. Got it.
She's like, "I don't wanna go to heaven if I have to go to heaven and see Ted Cruz." And I was like,
Right?
I was like, "Oh, geez. That's funny." It's
I
like,
love
"Yep."
that we both sent that to you because
I know, I was like,
that just
"Basically,
makes
you 2
it
are the
so
same
amazing.
people."
I love it. I need Tessa's gonna have to move up to Connecticut now too. So
I know, right?
everybody everybody come to Connecticut. It's gonna be a party.
That cracked me up, though. It was so funny. Because
Yeah.
it was I saw where you sent it to me, and then I sent it to her, and then I went over to this string of things that she had sent me, and I was like, "She
Mhm.
sent me the same thing April did." And I just sent it to her, and so I was like, "I sent this to you because April sent it to me, and I thought you would like it, and now I just saw that you sent it to me too, so that's why I sent it to you." You and April are the same person. That's why.
You know, it could be, Claire, that in fact you are the Truman Show. And we are all just actors in it, and that's why
Oh,
we
don't
are
say
in fact the
that.
same person. You've
Don't say
never
that.
seen us together in the same room, so maybe we're the
Oh,
same
please
person.
don't say that. I don't want that to happen.
Alright.
No, 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 no.
Alright, well, let's get down to it and talk about this week's cult. Claire, what
Mm.
cult did you bring us this week?
Oh, gonna be talking about children of God,
Yay!
also known as the Family International,
Hmm,
not to be confused with the Australian cult, The Family. That's a totally
Okay.
different one.
I was gonna say, I think I've
Mhm.
heard of the family, but not the family. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's a totally different one. That was led by a woman.
Noted.
This one's led by a man, but Children of God. Anyway, sources are Wikipedia, Investigation Discovery, Esquire, New York Post, and BBC.com.
Nice.
Okay, Children of God was founded by a guy named David Berg in 1968. Has several different names since its inception. It was first known as Teens for Christ, which how terrifying is that?
Boy.
Which
I
if you
mean,
go and like Google Teens for Christ, there are still a bunch of like Teens for Christ organizations out there, and I'm just like, that's terrifying.
yeah, I'm so happy to know that.
Also known as the Family of Love, the Family International, or just the Family, but
The
not
Family of Love.
uh-huh.
This
Oh,
sounds like a really
oh,
terrible Netflix reality show. Okay, keep
it's
going.
bad. It's bad. It's bad.
The
Yeah,
Family.
okay. So David Berg was born February 18th, 1919,
Oh, all right.
which February 18th is also my birthday. And for those of you keeping track, this is the second cult leader to have the same birthday as me. Stab me in the face.
Ah, I'm good. I love it.
The
I
other
love
one
it.
was Gwen Shamblin, who was in charge of
That's
the Weight
right.
Loss Church.
Mm.
Like, ew, gross.
What a legacy you have ahead of you, Claire.
No, not at all. He was born in Oakland, California. He was the youngest of three children. Both parents were Christian evangelists. I feel like this man was doomed from the
I
start.
mean, you can't help it when you're brought up in it, I'm telling you.
Right. Don't at me on his dad's name pronunciation because he was Swedish. It was like I don't even know. Yalmer Berg, and then his mother was Virginia Brandt. His
Yalmer,
grand
Yalmer.
yeah,
I'm here
I'm
for it.
guessing
I am here
it's
for it. That
it's
is what it is, no matter what it is. Do you understand? Yalmer.
it's HJALMER.
I'm.
That's
I don't even care. It's
that's where I'm going with.
Yalmer. I'm here
That's where
for
I'm
it.
going with.
It is
And
excellent.
also his grandfather was a minister, so he was just surrounded
Oh
by
wow, hell's but like that. That makes
all
you.
of it.
It makes you think like there's some genetic power, and you can talk to God, and then you become insane. Hmm,
Right.
cool.
So his mother, Virginia, she actually became an atheist while she was in college, despite her Christian upbringing.
Feel that.
You know,
Feel
you
that.
gotta like go and buck the system a little bit.
You gotta.
Um, she shortly after she had her first kid, she had an accident where she broke her back. They didn't say what kind of accident. It was
Hmm.
just an accident. So she was bedridden for 5 years,
Oh,
and she did eventually recover. And after she did recover, she spent the rest of her life as an active Christian pastor and evangelist, along with her husband,
I guess she had a long time to think about it. So okay.
I guess. And they preached divine healing as testimony to her recovering from her accident and being paralyzed and bedridden for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
But
Sure.
because of that, the Disciples of Christ Church, which is basically like the Christian church, like
Mhm.
first Christian church kind of thing, expelled them because that didn't really align with their church doctrine. So they were
They're
like,
like, "Whoa,
no,
shoo."
like your little divine healing business doesn't really go with what we believe. So you can peace out, get out of
Yeah.
here. And they didn't really care for the denominational politicking of churches in general,
Agreed.
that goes
Agreed.
along with most,
Agreed.
I mean, fair.
I mean, I'm not I already know I'm not gonna agree with anything that they are doing, but I agree with that statement.
Yes, yes. So it says they mostly worked independently and they traveled a lot, doing their own preaching, I guess doing revivals, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So it says that little David, traveled with his parents during his early years. And in 1924, they settled in Miami, Florida. And Virginia wound up leading a series of successful large revivals. So they wound up living in Miami for 14 years. Um,
Hmm.
the family wound up depending on support from church members based on their giving and tithing. So sometimes, more often than not, they really struggled to make ends meet
Hmm.
because that was what they lived off of, was people's generosity.
Right.
We know how that
Yep.
is. Yeah. So David wound up graduating high school in 1935, and then he attended the Elliott School of Business Administration. He went on and he married Jane Miller in July 22nd, 1944. They wound up having four kids: Linda, Paul, Jonathan Emmanuel, and then Faith. So,
Sure. Gotta have one named Faith. Got it.
right. And in the late 40s, David became a minister in the Christian and Missionary Alliance, and he was placed in Valley Farms, Arizona. He was eventually expelled from that church for differences in teaching and also having alleged sexual misconduct with a fellow church employee. But
Whoops.
he claimed that the expulsion was because he supported more racial diversity in the congregation.
Sure.
I mean, this is the 40s though, so
Well, but like,
I'm gonna say it
sure.
was a little column A, a little
Little
column
column
B.
A, little column B. Maybe also you're a little bit of a dick. I don't know. Let's
Yeah,
find out.
right. So in 1968, the Bergs wind up pop up in Huntington Beach, California, founding an organization called Teens for Christ,
Hmm.
and they're operating out of Light Club Coffee House, and he's pushing this like kind of coming off of like the free love era of the 60s,
Mhm.
pushing this like born again hippie rhetoric towards like homeless, lost, runaway teens.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot
Mhm.
a lot of people when they run away, it's like, oh, let's go to California for whatever reason,
It's
you
not
know.
quite as cold there.
Right. So, and he's peddling this like free love mentality, and
Mhm.
his mantra is God is love and love is sex. So,
I mean, okay.
yeah. So, therefore, you can have sex with anyone you want, regardless of marital status and age.
You.
Yeah. Hmm. So you see the problem. You see where you see where this problem's
I
gonna be.
mean, I feel
Uh
like it's going
huh.
where a lot of cults go, which is sexual abuse of children. So
1000%.
awesome.
Indeed. Indeed. Like I said, it combined the worship of Jesus with 60s like free love, but it
Mhm.
had the pretty typical cult prophecy of like, oh, the world is ending, the apocalypse is
World is
looming.
always ending. I love it.
Yeah, we got to spread the word. We got to like amass members, blah blah blah. That was like typical,
Right,
cult
right.
BS. In 1969, David had this revelation that it's like, what a revelation. California would be hit by a major earthquake.
I mean, like, odds are, yeah, it's
Right.
gonna be.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and clear. I have a
Yeah.
major prediction. Are you ready for it?
Uh-huh. Mhm.
California is gonna be hit by a major earthquake in the next 10 years.
Right. I mean, seriously. It's like, wow, that's a big
Mhm.
revelation, my dude.
Mhm.
So, because of that, and because of people were picketing them and harassing them, Berg decided to like take his group on the road. And so he started in it. I'm not sure at which point he started going by different names in the cult, but they talked about like there were different names like they had like their names, but then it was like, oh, but in the cult they were known as this. So
Okay.
like in within the cult, he was known as he had several different Moses David, Father David, King, or the last end time prophet.
Okay, the last one is a bit of a mouthful.
Right.
King feels wrong.
Right. Exactly. His wife,
Moses David though? Moses?
like Moses or just Moses David,
Moses.
like yeah.
Okay, cool. Mm.
His wife Jane was known as Mother Eve,
Ew, but
and
okay.
his kids, Linda was known as Deborah, Paul was known as Aaron, and Jonathan was known as Hosea. And I'm assuming Faith was just known as Faith because they never said that she had another name.
Why? Why?
I
Why?
don't
But
know.
why? I mean,
I don't
why didn't we just call them
know.
by the already biblical name that you gave them instead
I
of
don't know.
another biblical name that you
Right.
didn't give? What? I don't care. I don't care. Keep going.
And then in 1970, he divorced Jane and he wound up marrying his mistress, Karen Zerby. But
Ooh.
her name within the cult was Maria. Also, Mama Maria, Maria Fontaine. I don't know where that came
I
from.
feel like we need to have our own cult names, Claire.
Queen Maria. They were like, it was weird. Um, while they were on the road, the group would like proselytize and, hand out tracts and pamphlets and like, oh, join us, And the leaders of the group were referred to as the chain. I don't know why. I don't ask
I
questions.
feel like they have really just like drawn stuff out of a hat and been like,
I
let's
mean,
call it the chain.
who knows? Who knows? Um, let's see. Members of the group began settling down and establishing communes that were first called colonies, but now they're referred to as homes.
Okay.
So, and but they were like all over. And it was very like vague when this happened, but at some point it said Berg went into hiding because people were after him. Some made it sound like it happened in the 70s, other people made it sound like it happened in the 90s. Not sure when exactly. So, but he did go into hiding at some point because police were after him for his misdeeds to children. But anyway, I feel like it would have been later because I feel like this is when, like in the 70s, that's when some of this bad stuff started happening. But so David Berg would send out letters to his followers and call them the Mo letters, which I'm assuming is
I
short
just
for Moses.
I have to pause for just like half a second. How do you spell his last name?
Berg.
I need you to know there is literally a patron at the place I no longer work whose name is David Berg. And just like I can't stop picturing his face every time you say it. And I'm like, surely it's spelled different. It's not. It's spelled the exact same. So now I'm like, are you a cult leader? Is that the secret?
Well, this guy must be really old. He's over 100 now. If it's the
Well,
same guy,
it could be his son, Hosea,
related.
or Aaron, or Paul, or whatever their names are.
Right. But he would send out these letters to his followers called the Mo letters, which
Hmm.
I think was short for Moses. But he would like in these letters he would reiterate that God chose him as a prophet for this modern world. Some would contain moments of weaknesses or his failings, like one of them specifically mentioned his alcoholism. One
Okay.
talked about how he felt God was going to destroy the US. So he
Specifically the
felt
US.
yeah, so he felt that the group should start to move abroad to like Europe, Latin America, Asia. He also talked of evil, which he would be denouncing the mainstream church. Um, he was also denouncing pedophilia laws. So
Of
that's a
course he was.
big red flag. He was denouncing capitalism and hating on Jews. So he's also an anti-Semitic.
A
Hooray!
little bit of variety. Gotta have it. All right.
Right.
Hmm.
So by the end of the 70s, the colonies were in 70 countries. There were like
Damn.
130 communities in the US, over 10,000 members. And here's where things start to get bad. In 76, they started this practice, which was, and they started it with members higher up in the system, like in the chain, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's called flirty fishing. hmm
Flirty fishing.
Flirty fishing,
Oh God. I think I'm gonna hate
where,
this.
yeah, you are. Female members would go out and show God's love
Oh no.
through sex to potential converts.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'll have
So,
sex with you if you join my cult.
yes, 1000%. That's what it was.
And you know it
Yep.
worked. You know it worked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anywho, so by 1978, Children of God was rebranded as Family of Love.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, Berg dismissed a lot of leading members, like 300 of them, for abuse and misconduct of their positions. And an eighth of the fellowship left, which I'm
Okay.
just like, say what now? Because I feel like you're
Like, I'm
using your
sorry.
position.
Who what now?
Yeah. But it also said an eighth of the fellowship left. But after 78, that's when the flirty fishing increased like exponentially. Like, and they started, like, it was just this thing that, like, not just the inner circle group was doing it now, it was like
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And it became a thing. And there was an article, I think it was the New York Post one. I can't remember which one it was. There was, and it was talking to this woman who, and she's written a book about it. I'll talk about her later, but she talked about how she was actually grew up in Asia. She's American, but her dad, like their commune or colony was in Asia. And like she grew up, and some of her first coloring books were basically like adult coloring books with sexual pictures
So,
and
like, color your own Karma Sutra or something?
kind of, yeah. Yep. And it was one of those where it was constantly being pushed on her that she needed to, go out and try to have
Be a
sex with
sexual
people.
being, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, with people within the community. But then she talked about how she eventually, I think she said she was 16 when she first had sex with somebody that was not in, like, found a
Oh,
guy
okay.
like outside, and it was like, everybody was like so disappointed, 'cause it was just like, come on.
I can't believe you had sex with someone outside of the community. I'm so
But
disappointed in
all the
you.
people within the community, like if they weren't your parents, all the other adult men and women were referred to as aunts and uncles.
Ew.
Yeah, and
Ew.
so a lot of these young kids are being forced to do sexual things with these aunts and uncles.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
Both young boys and girls.
Ew.
Yeah, all the children. I mean, obviously, I feel like it was, being a girl, being a
Right.
female in this was
I find
the
that
worst.
in most cults, being a female is the worst.
Mm,
Not all cults, but most.
right, exactly. But with the flirty fishing, they began using it. They were starting to lure people by using escort services. So they were infiltrating escort
Mm-hmm.
services to like gain members into their cults.
I mean,
And
I'm gonna be honest. That is a what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, I don't know. That's an interesting plan to get people involved. I've never thought about that. Like, hey, I'm your escort this evening. While we're having sex, let me tell you about, my Lord and Savior Moses David or whatever his name is.
right, right.
And you're like, okay.
But it was like they're talking about this doctrine that was supposed to kind of meant to conceal and justify exploitation.
Okay.
And the whole thing was your body is not your own, so you're supposed to give it up to God. So it's like when you're having sex
Oh
with
my
somebody,
God.
yes,
Ew.
yes,
Because that is so, it is the exact same statement as your body is a temple. You are God's. Like, I mean, it's the same message you're getting at church. You're not allowed to destroy
Yeah.
your body or hurt your body because it doesn't belong to God. It's God's body. And over here, they're like, yeah, exactly. So go have sex with people. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Hmm. And there was something I read in one of the things that was talking about like you when you were having sex with somebody else, you needed to imagine like you were having sex with God. But
What?
if you were, yeah, but if you were or Jesus or whatever, but if you were a man, you needed to pretend like you were the woman so you didn't think you were gay. It was this whole thing, and I was like,
Okay. Okay. Hold on.
my
Hold on.
head hurts. My head hurts so much reading this.
So, as women, we're supposed to imagine no matter who we're having sex with, that it is Jesus slash God,
Yeah. Hmm.
which it's gross. But if you're a
Right.
man, not only are you imagining that you're having sex with Jesus slash God, but you have to also imagine that
Or
you
the
yourself are
woman.
a woman, so that way you're not gay having sex with Jesus and God. That's fascinating. Like that's a
It's
whole lot
like
of like
I'm reading some of
mental
this and I'm like,
gymnastics to
what?
try and get there. But I'm like,
Right. It was
okay.
this because it's all about like sex is your relationship with Jesus. I mean, it was because, like you said, God is love and love is sex, and I'm just like that. No,
So
what?
I guess follow up question, and this probably says way too much about me, which means I may cut this out of the episode. But do you imagine yourself having sex with someone other than the person that you're having sex with? Is that is that a normal thing that people do? I ask.
I do not.
Okay, good, because I don't either. Like I might have like a weird flit through my mind or something, but like I don't go, I'm actually having sex with George Clooney or whatever. Like it's never. I love George. I love George. Okay, I love him, but like
But you're not
that feels
like
like a thing that's normal. Like, I'm not saying that's not a normal thing people do, but I'm in this moment realizing that is not a thing that I do. And now I'm
right.
beginning to
No,
question myself. Am I
I
normal?
feel like people
Is this
have some
normal?
kind of
What's normal?
oh yeah. I mean, I've heard of people like people have told me like, oh yeah, when I'm having sex, I imagine it. I've had people tell me that, but I myself have never done it.
Okay. Well, at least
Um,
we're both the exact same level screwed up or okay,
I
depending
don't
on
know.
whatever. I don't know what the I don't
I
even
don't
know.
know.
I don't even know. Okay, sorry. That was
It's
just like
bizarre.
I've never
Yeah.
imagined being someone else or being with someone else or any of that. So okay, sorry.
But
Sorry
anyway,
to interrupt.
yes. So during this period when they were called the family of love, it was very much you would talk about free love and it was a free for all and a lot of it was called love bombing. And it went on from 74 to 87 was
Okay.
when that was like most of it happened and said that the members had sexual contact with almost 224,000 people.
Ew. This is how you get
So,
STDs.
well, and it said by
This is
1981
how they all got STDs. I got it. Okay.
1981, most of it had stopped because that's when the AIDS
Right. I was gonna say this
epidemic,
is the AIDS crisis that came about.
yeah, especially like in US. I think, some of it in
Mm-hmm.
other countries and stuff may have gone on, but US, it really kind of like halted 1981 because of things like AIDS epidemic and other STDs that were being passed and happening. But could
Mm-hmm.
you imagine the amount of children that were born into this cult because of this?
Ugh. Ugh.
Yes,
It's the
because we
best
know safe
way.
sex was not happening during
Well,
this. Let's
it's
just put
also
that out
the
there.
best way to propagate a cult or religion for that matter, which I might use those words interchangeably, but you don't have to. Um, is children. The more children you have, the more people that you have brought up into the indoctrination. It's easier for them to
Right.
be in and stay in and then do the same
Mm.
thing. That's why it's always like be fruitful and multiply. So that
Right,
way we
right,
have more people in our cult or religion or whatever.
right.
Hmm,
So,
sure.
1982, the name changed again to the family.
I
They
love
started
all of the name changes.
no, right?
It's
They s
amazing. Okay.
they started tightening standards. They wanted to provide a wholesome environment for all, especially children. 1986, they included in their literature a zero tolerance policy regarding sexual interaction between adults and minors. and any such activity that was found out would result in excommunication.
Okay, this feels like
Because
a hard left or a hard right or whatever they were.
yes,
But okay, that's I
because I
support
think by
that.
this point people started reporting it.
Yeah.
They were coming under scrutiny. By 1990, both Interpol and the FBI were after David Berg, and authorities were fully investigating the group's activities. And it was
Mhm.
like, many reports of child abuse and child prostitution, especially in other countries. Many arrests were made in Australia, US, Argentina, and other countries. Charges of violating children's rights, kidnapping, racketeering, child abuse, a lot of that was going around in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
because, and I think that's why it's like, oh, we need to crack down on this because they're really looking at us now, nip it in the bud. But I mean,
Mhm.
they're coming back for like past infractions too.
Right, right.
Um, Berg's own daughter, Linda slash Deborah, reported that her father had tried to do sexual acts with her multiple times.
I mean,
So
I'm
I'm
not
just
really that
like,
shocked. My eyes are big. I'm like, I'm actually no. It's
in
of
his
course
own,
he
like
did.
his daughter and his grandchildren.
Of
Like
course he did,
it's just
because
like,
he's
uh,
disgusting filth. So yeah, absolutely believe it.
yeah. So like I said, in some places it said that he started hiding in 1971. Other places said it was like the 90s. The one I said that he like went to Portugal in 93, but this says that he reportedly died in 1994 in Portugal. So then his wife, aka Maria slash Mama Maria slash Queen Maria slash Maria Fontaine, whatever you call her,
Right.
I don't know.
Whatever her name is.
Yeah, she assumed control over the family international at this point, which is still in operation today. But
No, gross.
it's obviously less. They're basically only in like online form now, and they really only have like 15 to 1700 members. Like it's not,
I mean, that's yeah, that's better.
it's not
That's
what it was.
that's less scary.
But I think basically with them coming in and cracking down and doing raids on some of these communes and
Mhm.
things like that, that really put a damper on all that stuff.
I sure do hate when the FBI raids places and, protects children
Right.
from
Right,
horrors.
right.
Gosh darn it when that happens.
I know, it's terrible. Some notable members
Oh,
of this
good.
cult, Rose McGowan, the actress.
From Charmed?
Yes, she was born into the cult.
Oh, it's not her fault. You can't
No,
help where you're born.
she was born in Italy into the cult. And she said that when the cult really started pushing the child sex stuff, that's
Mhm.
when her dad knew it had really gone too far.
He was like, no."
And he was just like, he knew he needed to get her out at that point. And so she'd said that they needed to like get out on the sly.
Mhm.
So they like snuck out. I was like, we gotta
Nice.
leave. Another one, what was this guy's name? Jeremy something. Jeremy Spencer. He was a blues guitarist and a
Hmm.
founding member of Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
He
there you go.
joined after like Fleetwood Mac broke up in the 70s.
So
So
he
like,
was at a low point. Yeah, very
yeah.
susceptible to cults. You can't help
Hmm.
it. It's okay.
Joaquin Phoenix
No.
and all four of his siblings.
No.
Yeah, including his brother River Phoenix.
Oh.
They were in it as children from 1972 to 78.
Mhm.
He said when the flirty fishing began, that and when it began picking up, that's when his parents were like, "Fuck this, we got to get out."
I appreciate that there are people who have a threshold and they're like, I was cool, but this is going in a place I don't like. I'm gonna
Right,
just go.
right. And River Phoenix had said in some interviews that he had had sex for the first time when he was 4 years old, but he doesn't remember it. But I guess somebody had told him that,
Oh
like,
wow.
yeah. But he claimed in a 1991 interview, which he did wind up dying in 1993,
Mhm.
that they're ruining people's lives. That's what he told in the interview,
Mhm.
that cult was ruining people's lives. So I'm just like,
Well, and
oh my
didn't
gosh.
Didn't he die from a drug overdose?
He did.
So, like, one could suggest a link between childhood trauma and
Right.
drug issues. So,
Right. Another one was a guy named Ricky Rodriguez. He was Karen Zerbe's biological son, and when she married David Berg, Berg never officially adopted him, but it was like he was
hmm,
adopted,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
He's like,
quote
yeah,
unquote
it's fine.
adopted. He was the subject of a manual advocating for adult child sexual contact because Berg nicknamed him Davidito, which this was called the Davidito book.
Okay.
And so this book was, yeah, there's this manual was using him as an example for, hey, this is why you should let your kids have sex with adults.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
And so he did get out. He left the family. He got married, but he struggled obviously with anger issues and depression. And he really wanted to seek revenge. So he traveled across the country looking for his mother because he wanted to kill her because she was the reason he was messed up the way he was.
Okay.
But he wound up finding a former nanny slash aunt slash abuser. Her name was Angela Smith. And so he invited her over to dinner where he stabbed her to death. And then he drove to Blythe, California, where he unalived himself.
Wow.
And it was like of course, the family at the time was like, all like, "No, that's not the narrative we wanna push, blah."
That's not the
Obviously.
narrative. That's not what we were hoping for. I
Yeah,
promise we'll switch
they
out
were
the
like
banners. We'll make the
right,
better banners.
right. It was like almost like they were trying to say that people were blowing it out of proportion, like, that's not really why that's not really what
Mhm.
happened, that kinda thing.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the former child members of the family whose either parents got out or they got out
Mhm.
somehow, a lot of them have grown up to write books or memoirs about their experiences. The one girl I told you about who was in Asia, her name was Faith Jones,
Mhm.
and she grew up to write a book called Sex Cult Nun.
I've seen that book. I keep meaning to
Yes,
read that book.
it's about Children of God cults.
Oh, well, there you
Um,
go.
there's a book called Not Without My Sister by Celeste and Christina Jones and Juliana Burring, and that's them trying like the 3 of them trying to get out
Mhm.
together. And then there's one called Leaving Isn't the Hardest Thing by Lauren Huff. So that's a few of the books written about getting out
Hmm.
of this cult. And Lauren Huff, she's a lesbian who it talks about her time in the cult and how that affected because she wound up going to the military and being in the military as a lesbian and you know, getting out, and
Yeah.
that's like, how all that has affected her life. And
Wow.
so, anyway, so, but yeah, it's still around, but not as big as it was.
Mhm.
But yeah, did a lot of damage to some people. And that is the story of the Children of God cult and David Berg.
That is excellent, Claire. I don't think I knew really any of that. I knew vaguely that it existed, but I
Right.
couldn't have told you anything about it.
Yeah, when I was telling mom about it, I was like, "Yeah, like Joaquin and River Phoenix apparently." And
Mm.
mom goes, "Oh, that's the one." Like she,
She's like, I knew they were
like
in
I
a
remember
cult.
them saying that they had been in something like that when they were younger, but it's like, no, this is the one that they were in,
Mhm.
you
Hmm.
know. So, yeah, really fucked some kids up because he was a big huge fan of adult and child sex, which is disgusting.
That is disgusting. Ugh. Ugh.
Right. And it's just like
And, like, unfortunately, is a theme in a lot of culty cults.
right.
And I mean, not all, but enough. Enough culty cults. It's like,
Right.
especially especially if God/Jesus is somehow involved,
Right.
it's like, "No, God wants this." I'm like, "But
See, I
does
feel like what
he?
was
Are
it?
you sure?"
Like Heaven's Gate was one because it's like he
Mhm.
castrated himself
Mhm.
because
Well, but I
He
even
was
think
not
about,
into
like,
this. He was not into the sex thing at all. Like he
the
was just
Rajneesh were super into sex, but children were never part of that conversation.
right, right. And that's one thing of adults. You're consenting adults. That's whatever.
Yeah,
But
you do you.
no, you start bringing kids into the mix, and it's just like that. No, no, no,
Mm-mm.
no.
Mm-mm. 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 Mm.
But anyway, like I said, it's kind of terrifying that it started out as Teens for Christ, and I'm just like, oh
I
God.
know, because like, that feels like a thing that you would accidentally join, not realizing what it is you're joining.
Right. And like he was specifically marketing it toward homeless, runaway, lost
Mhm.
teens, Of course they're gonna, you're pushing this, Jesus and hippie love and
Come love Jesus. Come have sex
right.
with Jesus.
Uh
Ugh. That's actually, I think
anyway,
that's how I'm going to remember it now, is as the cult that wants to have sex with Jesus. But not in a gay way. Very
no,
specific. If you're a guy, you
no.
have to pretend like you're a girl so that you can have sex with Jesus. It's
It
weird.
was weird.
It's
It
a
was
weird
very
thing.
weird.
Hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, that is the Children of God cult.
That was excellent, Claire. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, obviously it's culty episodes, so part two, my episode of culty, will be a separate episode. Trust me, you'll want to join because it's gonna be fun.
Oh, it is.
But that means it's time for this week's sweary affirmation.
Yes.
I need you to know I write these down and then I look at them for my week and it makes me very happy. I also write down all the tarot things because we're a little bit ahead right now in our recording. And this week's tarot reading was one that included basically quitting a job. And I'm like, yes!
Yes.
Anyway. This week's sweary affirmation. You are more than enough. You are more than worthy. You are fucking fabulous.
I love that.
Isn't that nice?
I love that.
That's right. You
That's
are.
excellent. That is excellent. I love that.
Well, I mean, I'd say thank you, but it's not, the gods have chosen which one is our sweary affirmation each week. It's not me. I don't choose. I just
That's
pick
right.
the card
You just
up
like
out of the
pull it out of
thing.
the deck.
Just pull it right out.
Yep.
All right. That means it must be time for tarot time with April. Spooky, spooky.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yay.
All right, Claire. Tell me when to stop. Teens for Christ. Teens for Christ. Having sex with Jesus Christ.
Oh God.
But only in your mind, and if you're a man, pretend that you're a girl. Teens for Christ. Teens for Christ. Teens
But
for
what's so funny is
Christ.
it's like pretend that you're a female,
Yeah.
but aren't they like so anti like trans and all that? It's like what?
Maybe not teens for Christ. Maybe they're okay with trans in your mind. So just for the purposes of
Just
having
in
sex
your
with Jesus.
just
It's
in your mind.
very specific and only for Jesus.
That's right.
Lord.
Then and only then is it
Then and
time.
only then.
Stop.
Okay. Okay. Here we go. Are we ready?
Yep.
We start our week off with the Page of Cups.
Page of Cups.
Our middle week is the Seven of Swords.
Okay. I'm always scared with the sword card.
And we end the week with the Three of Cups.
Okay.
The Page of Cups. Oh, we've had this one. He's the dandy. He's the bit of a dandy.
That one. Okay.
He's just darling. What can I say?
That
He
guy.
is the card of art and inspiration, of love, lust, and passion. If you can apply those feelings to anything in your life, that's the Page of Cups. So, cool. Art and inspiration, love, lust, and passion.
Okay.
I know we've also had the, what did I tell you it was? The Seven of Swords? Because I remember he's taking the bird out of the cage. He's eating the bird or something. And I remembered this picture
Oh, yeah.
specifically. Gotta find the Seven of Swords. This is one that's like that all lies aren't that bad or whatever.
All lies aren't that bad.
Okay, let me skip ahead. The action of stealing is so completely brazen in this card. I mean, it is. He's literally, there's feathers coming out of the bird cage. He took the bird. Let's be real. Seems like he's going to get busted in just a few minutes. What's done in the dark will come to light, and even if it doesn't happen right away, the truth will come out. Mm-hmm. Even if no one else saw his lie, he knows. His soul is going to get a pretty good ding on it. I think that we lie to protect ourselves from ourselves when we don't want to have hard conversations, when we are afraid to fail, and when we are certain we can do what we want with other people and remain untouched. We don't want to have these hard conversations because it's easier to buy the bullshit that we're serving up. So that sounds not as great.
No, I know. It's like,
But I mean, we can't always have great cards, so whatever.
right.
That's fine. Whatever. Okay. But we're gonna end our week with the Three of Cups, and it looks nice. Whenever I see this card in a reading, I immediately know that the person getting the reading has people. They've got a tribe, a heart family. Even if their own family isn't as involved as they could be, the three sisters are swirling around, dancing with their cups in the air.
Nice.
Smiling and enjoying each other. This card is about love, support, silliness, and having absolute certainty that someone has your back. So that's a great card. I'm here for that one.
I know, that sounds like a good card.
So, like, it's just like the middle of the week. Maybe we just gotta get real with ourselves, and then we're gonna be with our tribe and our people and have a good time.
Yay!
So that sounds fine. That sounds fine. Sounds great. Everything's fine. It's fine.
Fine.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for this week. You'll have to join us next week for part 2 of cults.
That's right.
Cult.
All the cults.
All right. So until next time, you can find us in all the things and at all the places at
Brunch and Judge.
Please follow, like, comment, subscribe, yada yada. And you can send us new topics for our wheel or any stories you would like for us to cover.
Or color. We'll make a coloring book.
I'm having a stroke. My brain is just picking not the right words today. It's been a whole day of this. It's fine. That's fine. But any stories you'd like for us to cover and then maybe turn into a coloring sheet, we'll see. You can send those to us at
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
Bye.
Bye.
Also, maybe, like, don't join Teens for Christ.
No. Not even the ones that are around today. Don't do it.
Maybe just say no to all culty cults. And if someone says, I will have sex with you if you join my cult, just say no. I mean,
No.
if you want to have sex, that's fine. But then be like, hard pass on the cult thing.
Right. No.
It's fine. Okay. Bye.
Bye.